Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I got China's War, 1937 to 1941. It's a new GMT game by Brian Train, and I have probably been waiting on this game since like pre-COVID, maybe 2018. It was on P500 for the longest time, and I don't know, it got deprioritized for other games, and then, you know, COVID happened, and then the trade war happened, tariffs and stuff, and I don't know. It got delayed and delayed and delayed. It was ready years ago, but it's here now, and I just got it the other day. And I actually got to play it at my game club. A different person got his copy earlier. We busted it out and played, and it was amazing. So I'm gonna unbox it for you today and tell you a little bit about how it happens. I don't fully understand all the rules yet. I just kind of went in quick. So let's see. Let me put it down here, and we'll get to the unboxing. Let's see. There we go. Sorry for the noise. Okay. So, first off, beautiful cover. Like this photo. Got the soldiers on the Great Wall. You can tell by their hats. Let's see. Can't quite make out that insignia. I don't know. Couldn't tell what side they're on. Let's see. Then you got the back of the box. You see the map, beautiful bright colors. And there's the cards, a little description. So what we got? Age 16 and up, 1 to 4 players. We played with 4 players, and it's pretty cool because it's a coin game. Those are usually like 2 players. This one was 4, and the different sides are the communists and the nationalists. Then you got the Japanese, and then you got the remaining warlords from after the fall of the Qing dynasty, and just everything turned into like just a free-for-all in China. And the warlords were just running amok all over the place. Every province, different warlords. It wasn't until the nationalists reconsolidated and fought to reunify China that they finally got a grip on it. And of course, right before they were finished, that's when Chiang Kai-shek decided to purge the communists from his ranks, forcing them to embark on the Long March and regroup in, I want to say, like Xi'an or something. I'll show you on the map when we pull it up. But that's about where this game picks up. Right when the communists are figuring their stuff out as guerrilla insurgents, and right as the Japanese are like starting to invade China. So what we got here? We got, let's just back it up. All right, that beautiful scenery I set. Let's throw that out the window. There we go. So we got the rules of play here. I think that's the general kind of rule book for the coin series. Yeah, it's in color, so that's nice. Like that. This really is just China's war. I didn't know who the players were going to be at first. I figured nationalist, communist, and probably Japanese. I couldn't figure out who the fourth one was. I thought like maybe it's a combined British and American support group, but no, it's the warlords because they still had their agendas, and they were there was many of them. This is for the bots. If you do a less than 4-player game, this is the rules for how the bot operates. I guess they call him Sun Wukong. That's the Monkey King that Goku from Dragon Ball Z is based on. Or maybe you played Black Myth Wukong or something. That's probably how kids are familiar with him these days. But yeah, that's just the name they have for the card-based non-player. So that's the rules for that. Okay. Okay. And then we got the playbook, table of contents, China's War tutorial. So that's like a faction interactions, pronunciation guide. I guess this is sort of just explaining how different cards and different plays and different procedures work out, and it's got some of the background. This is the history. Marco Polo Bridge incident. Yep. Definitely some history, some like explainers on what the different cards in the game mean. TV Sung and Spirit of Resistance and German aid, the Sichuan clique, that kind of stuff. The Battle of Taiyuan, that's a magazine war game for a different time. I'll show y'all. All right, then we got the 4 players' aids. So you got your first page, that's the Nationalists. Their normal operations are recruit, patrol. That's to protect lines of communication. So that's like putting troops on the train tracks and rivers and stuff. Sweep, that's moving troops and activating the guerrillas. The CPC guerrillas or the CCP guerrillas or the CCPCC guerrillas. I think CCP is good enough. And assault, eliminating Japanese forces. And then they got govern for their special activities. They have govern to obtain patronage and remove enemy bases. Obtaining patronage is how they win the game, mostly, how their thing is secured. Transport to relocate troops rapidly. Okay. And then partisan actions, place guerrillas to sabotage lines of communication. Okay, and yeah, there you go. That's their victory condition. Support plus patronage exceeds 40. You can see the Japanese, they're not winning by just brute force. They're basically get like an economic kind of victory. When we played the Japanese player, he was going for the lines of commerce, LOCs here. I think his lines of commerce, not lines of communication. So that's like the railroads and the rivers connecting everything, making the economy hum. Warlords, it was controlled population and bases exceeding 25, so they have a lower bar for victory. That's I was playing the Warlords. I think I did it kind of badly at the outset. I was the way they're kind of short on resources, so I was trying to control railroads and stuff to block the Japanese from even entering Japan. Turns out that's and from entering China. Turns out that's not how that works. The whole purpose of controlling the lines of commerce for the Warlords is to get it so that Chiang Kai-shek and the Nationalists will pay them to use them. You know, they could fight me off of the lines of commerce, but maybe that's a bit too much to deal with when they got an agenda going, so maybe it's just easier for them to pay me from their vast resources to just ride the train and get to where they need to go. And that's how I'd have more resources to do more actions. I found myself a bit cash strapped. And I think there was one time where I had to collaborate with the Japanese to get some patronage. But anyway, so that's the Nationalists. Warlords. Yep, that's who I was. So we have basic operations are recruit, patrol, sweep, and assault for eliminating Japanese forces. I was getting a lot of trouble from the communists in the game. They could like get rid of my troops and bases and stuff, but I couldn't do anything to directly aggravate them. The only thing I could do was just activate their guerrillas that were in hiding. So I guess that made them more vulnerable, but once they're vulnerable, I couldn't actually deal with them. The only people I could deal with directly was the Japanese forces. So let's see. Special activities, we had extort, so that's a way to gain resources. We had suborn to remove and replace Japanese police or nationalist pieces and neutralize provinces. Organize, place bases, and yeah, their victory again is just get over 25 in terms of controlled population and bases. The CCP or the CPC, the Chinese Party of Communists, the Communist Party of China, the Chinese Communist Party. This I don't even know what the CCPCC stands for. They keep changing it so that Google searches will reveal less dirty laundry from their past. So CPC is what they're going for now. I say just stick with CCP. All right, so the Communist Party of China. We got operations. We got rally. That's augment or recover friendly forces. March, move the guerrillas. We got attack to eliminate Japanese forces. And we got agitate to increase opposition and sabotage lines of communication. And then on special activities, we have tax for resources, subvert to remove or replace enemy forces, and ambush, ensure attack success. And their threshold for victory is opposition, and bases exceed 20. All right. Let's see. And then finally, we got the Japanese forces. Do not get them mixed up with the warlords. The color is different shade of yellow, more like an olive green or a khaki color. All right, so the Japanese, they're going to want 40 points, same as the nationalists. So, and for them, it's Japan only econ and commitment exceeds 40. So their activities again are recruit, patrol, sweep, and assault. And then special activities: deploy to place or withdraw troops, transport to relocate troops rapidly, and anti-bandit action to destroy exposed guerrillas and or bases and terrorize and neutralize provinces. So yeah, I guess if I expose the communists more in the game, they'd be more vulnerable to anti-bandit actions if the Japanese were going to go that route. Let's see. So, that's that. A player's aid just for the bot. That's nice. Kind of reminding you how everything goes. Alright. Very nice. Sounds like kind of a lot to keep track of. But, you know, when you don't have 3 other players handy, what else can you do? Glad they thought of it. Alright, what do we got here? Event instructions. Okay, so just sort of how these cards go into effect. Oh yeah, it's got the card numbers here, and then how it affects the different... If you choose to do the event on the card, how it's going to affect things. Alright. Let's see what else we got. So I guess this is the sequence of play, a player's aid. So it tells you assess for victory, calculate resources, support, redeploy, aid and commitment, and then reset. So different phases of the game, how you go about it. Yeah, just for the propaganda round, just how that goes. And then this side is the general assault procedure. So this is how assaults are carried out in the game. I noticed that we were doing more other limited ops and special ops. Not really too much like fighting kind of action in the game. It's very different. It's not like this is more of like chess rather than boxing kind of a thing. Yep. And then they have a second one of that. All right. Here are the pieces. So we got. Let's see what we got. Yes, I am a freak. I am a genius. Okay, so let's see. We got our pieces here. All right, so this is these blue ones here. They represent nationalist control of a province. You can see on the back it can flip to warlord control of a province. And then you got some flood markers, terror, KMT support. That's the nationalist. KMT is nationalist. It stands for Kuomintang, which is really Kuomintang with a G. Kuomintang. Yeah, and then oppose the KMT. You know, that's the communists spreading their propaganda in a province, turning people against the KMT as the war goes on, and it doesn't look like they're fighting as hard. Or maybe they got other things they're worried about instead of economic needs of the people. These look like event markers. Sabotage for the CCP. Terror. CCP also does a bit of terror. I think the Japanese do some terror, too. Foreign aid, commitment, patronage. Those are markers you'd put on the, I think you put those on the scoring track to show how far along you are. All right, now we are, yep, getting to the bottom there. All right, so we got the map, and it is a big, thick boy. Bright colors, not quite there yet. Okay. 6 squares across. No. Wait, we're going up. Yes, there we go. Okay, so here's the map. Focus. And we were trying to figure out how it goes. Normally, I guess you'd see it like this. This is how the map is geographically, where this is the south, that's the north, and up there you got kind of Manchuria, You get the Korean Peninsula somewhere over there. There's Fujian, so Taiwan is right here. It's just barely in there. It's non-playable territory. But you play it sideways like this, and so the so you got Manchuria right here. Chinese can't enter. I think the Japanese are entering from here. Let me see if I can find how it's set up. It's probably in the rules. I should probably go to that. This map's a little too big for this for my current setup to get it all in one shot. One steady shot. Back to the rules of play. I assume there is a setup page. Okay. Yeah. So, here's how the game starts. You can see the communists are set up down here in Shanxi. That's probably their base of operations. That's post a long march when they just had to get away from the bigger cities on the coast and regroup in the mountain areas. There's a mechanic in the game where if you want to expose these unactivated guerrillas, you can do it by having one troop in these green provinces, but you need two troops in the mountain to expose the guerrillas because it's easier to hide in the mountains. Warlords. Let's see. You got the warlords up here. I think Chiang Kai-shek was probably still making the push. The Japanese are all here. Warlords are here and here, and they got some down here in the mountains. Nationalists are just all over these money-making provinces with, the occasional communists in there trying to spread their propaganda, just in hiding, waiting for an opening. Some warlords, too, probably collaborating with Chiang Kai-shek. I noticed that the Japanese had a lot of ways of replacing my troops with their police, so I think that's more of a collaboration issue. Just fickle, unloyal, out for their personal gain kind of warlords, just collaborating with them willingly because they see a better opportunity for them if they throw their allegiance with the Japanese. It's an interesting game. I'd say it's pretty balanced. You'd think the Japanese would be like this overwhelming force that comes sweeping through and everybody's got to team up to fight them, but no, not really. They're strong. They got some stuff going on, but I noticed I was having more trouble from the communists playing as a warlord, and occasionally, very occasionally, the Japanese would just turn my pieces into their pieces. And that was kind of annoying. The Nationalists, I didn't get too much trouble from them, but then again, I guess I didn't make enough trouble for them. So that's on me. But yeah, I like the game. It's about how it starts setting up. I got pretty close, but I feel like if I had more of a greater sense of how my pieces worked, it would have been better. I would have fared better in the game, or had more resources to make a play. So let's see. Game comes with dice for each player, color coded. So you got your nationalists, your communists, your warlords, and your Japanese dice. And you got your pieces for your guerrillas. I think these are markers on the map. Yeah, the nationalists have guerrillas too. And then you got, these are your troops. The white ones are police. The cubes are troops. The white ones are Japanese police. I think they're like Chinese police and Japanese service. And the circle ones, those are bases. So yeah, that's not everything. I forgot one of the coolest parts of the game. That's the empty bags it comes with. I'm kidding. Of course, it's the cards. They are beautiful renders. They got pictures on every single one. The cards, they tell you who's going to go first. So on this card, this has the nationalists going first, followed by the communists. And on the card, you can either it'd be from the factions that are available. So if somebody already went the previous turn, then they would go down here to ineligible, and they wouldn't be eligible the next turn. So I think only two players can do an action on each turn. You have the option to pass, and that'll help you gain a resource. And so yeah, the so like let's say let me bust out the cards and show y'all a bit. Let's do it. Note to self: get scissors. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for bearing with me. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Buffering. I'd say we're like 16% there, maybe. There we go. Beauty. All right. So when you're playing the game, you'd have like the card for this turn. Oh, propaganda card. So whenever these come up, that's when you start the propaganda round. That's when you assess, see who's met their victory for threshold. If multiple players have, who's further along in their victory, who's winning by more, and that determines who wins. So let's see. I think. Yep, you got multiple propaganda cards. Oh, each one's got a different picture. That's nice. Okay, yeah, those are the propaganda cards. So when you're playing, you'd have the card for this turn flipped face up, and then you'd also have the card for next turn flipped face up on top of the deck, ready to go for the next round. That way you can kind of see like what you got going for you this time and what's coming up next time. So that way you can decide, do I want to take an action now and make myself ineligible for the next one, or do I want to wait and maybe capitalize on this card that I think might be better for me. So that's one aspect of play. So, like, I was the Warlords. I'm first on this card. I'm also first on this card. Does this card help me out more, or does this card help me out more? I can only be first once, otherwise it goes to the... It's all in the same order on these two cards. That must be... Let's see. Let's go further down in the deck. Boom. Bust that out. There you go. So if I was the Warlords, and this was the card for the current turn, Warlords are going last. Now, maybe I am eligible, but I'd have to go after the first person, and if the first person, be it the communists, or if they're ineligible, the Japanese or the nationalists, they go first. They're probably going to go with they can do the event, the operation, and the special activity, or the operation only, no special activity. So they go first, and then the second person, they can only do... Chances are the first person is going to go for the op and the special activity, unless the event's really good. But they're going to go for that. If they're really strapped on resources, they could go op only or event. But chances are they're going to do the op and the special activity, which means all I could do as the second person is just the event or a limited operation, no special activities. And then I would go to ineligible, and then I wouldn't be eligible in the next turn for the next card, which would have me as the Warlords going first. And that card would let me do the special activity and an op instead of just doing a limited op as the second player. So that's the benefit of having the second card on top. Yep, sorry, one last thing. I think these are probably just going to get, yep, Sun Wukong. So these are the solo bot cards. Neat. Okay. Depending on who the solo bot's controlling. Yeah, overall, it was a fun game. Made you think in different ways. Definitely helps if you read the rules beforehand instead of trying to learn on the fly, but honestly, that's what I did. I'd say I did it wrong, but it was still a good time. I'm glad I waited so long for this game. It was a long time in the making and totally worth the wait. I can't wait to play this again, and I'll probably learn the Sun Wukong solitaire bot system just so I can play this a bunch of times and be ready for the next time. I got 3 or 4 players to play with. All right, thank you guys. Hope this helped you in your consideration of whether or not to buy this game. I hope you're buying this. You should support these games because I think there's probably not enough China war games out there, or just Asia war games in general. A lot of Asian war games just focus on the major wars or the major theaters of wars that had a lot of Western involvement, and uh, that's great. That serves a great purpose, and it's fun for the hobby. And there tends to be more resources in the West about those things to draw on when designing a game. But I do like to focus, and a large portion of my collection is dedicated to wars and conflicts fought in Asia by Asians, with a heavy focus on just what was going through the minds in those regimes. I like to see a different side of the story that we don't often get in the West. So that's why I like to focus on these things. And China War is now a proud addition to this collection because of its focus, not just on the war fought by Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists, but just because of the perspective it gives you from the warlords, the communists, the nationalists, and the Japanese, and how they were considering things and how they saw this conflict developing. So thank you, Brian Train. Thank you, GMT. I am looking forward to playing this again real soon. Alright, thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope to see y'all again in the next video. Bye.